You are like, you are your own legend, okay? You are the fucking character, main character, um, you know, of your fairy tale, of your saga, of your adventure. Okay, like if you've ever seen like I'm a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes and the one with Benedict Cumberbatch. I believe that's how you say his name. So anyhow, there's a scene in there where he's with the dominatrix chick. Gosh, what's her name? The woman, I think, is what she's called, and Eileen Adler, right? And then she's basically like doing her like soul interrogation of him, because they've got like this like, like it's like dominatrix vibe essentially, but intellectually with each other. So she's talking about him, and she's just like, like you have this, belief in a higher power, which is essentially yourself, so it's like it's a god complex. Boil it all fucking down. Leo is the sign of, and or where you have Leo, and or where you have the sun as well, is where you have a god complex, right? It's like where you are your own highest power. So it is the time of the year where it really is about owning that. And so one way that really, really helps you to tap into that adoration of the self, that love affair with the self, of love affair with your own mythos, is look at your sun sign, and when I do branding work with clients, branding is so much more. Branding is all about you shining your light out into the world. That's what branding is, right? It's you are the myth, you are the fucking main character of your own legend. So look to what your sun sign is, right? And so if you look at what your sun sign is, like those are, and if you look at those characteristics, those are the things like you love about yourself, and I want to be clear about this, is that becoming the sun of your life. And so in the Kabbalah, which is one of the, modalities, I guess, or I don't know if you call it a modality, but lenses through which and how I work with integrates like so beautifully with astrology and archetypes, is in the very center. Okay, it's the perfect blend of the masculine and the feminine energies, and where we experience beauty in our life, where we experience the Christos energy, of the Christ energy, the Son of God, okay, where you recognize that you are a child. It's the divine child, where you are the son of the king. You are the son or the daughter of God. Okay, you are the divine child. And so it takes a lifetime to become that. It takes, and this is where some people, like, they may not, most people do, but some people don't resonate with their sun sign. And this is one of the reasons why that may be, is because number one, it takes a lifetime of aspiration to self-actualize, to become who you came here to be. It's not that it isn't there. It's not that it's something that you have to go and get. It's already inside of you. It's woven into your soul blueprint, into your DNA. However, there's a lot of junk in the way. There potentially, the more junk that there is in the way, right, it's like that beautiful Rumi quote where it's like, it's not your job to seek for love, but to find all of the places and all of the walls that you've built around it. So, and it's the same thing with this. So, now here's another piece as well that I see people get into, is because there's different voices of intelligence inside of you. Raise your hand. Let me know, if you're watching this on the replay or wherever you may be. right, is where you feel like you have paradoxes, you know, where it's like there's one part of you that feels a certain way, and then it's like, well, I can't be this and that. It's like a contradiction, okay? So, and it may not necessarily be a contradiction. It could also just be, you know, one aspect of your life is very conflicting to another aspect of your life. So let me give you an example. Scorpio energy is very much about, you know, Scorpio wants to hide. Scorpio is about the mystery. Scorpio is about what is hidden and underneath, you know, and the power that comes with holding a secret or, you know, concealing something. Having that, you know, if any of you know Scorpio, you know that they can have this very, like, dead eye, right? Where, you know, like, or that shark, you know, kind of where it's like you can't really tell what's going on beneath them on an emotional level, you know? So that energy, right, is in conflict because it's in a square to Leo energy because they're both fixed signs. So they square each other. So somebody who carries a lot of Scorpio energy and then also has Leo energy, that can be very challenging because Leo loves the spotlight. Leo loves being seen. Leo is born to be seen. Leo is like the sun at the zenith of like huge visibility, popularity, celebrity status, mega wattage light. So do you see how those are two very conflicting energies? So if somebody has both of those energies running, it can feel very challenging of like, well, how do I honor both of these things? And the truth is, if you came in here with that template, with that blueprint, it absolutely came to be done. And you're going to do it in your own unique way. You might have to get creative. You might have to get out of the box. Most likely you probably will because that's what squares, you know, produce, the square aspect. But a lot of people, what I see is they'll do one or the other because it's, you know, it's like, it's, so let's say somebody has a Leo sun and they may not be shining like a Leo sun. Like that energy may not really feel online for them or present for them because, you know, they really like that Scorpio energy, or they would much rather embody that Scorpio energy, be with that Scorpio energy where they're kind of like, you know, behind the scenes in, you know, pulled back into their cave, pulled back into their power lair, right? And, you know, and or there may not be like a natural flow of going, because that's another way of doing it, right? Is flowing, you know, in the retreat and then coming out, and in the retreat and then coming out very powerfully. So, but you can see if somebody doesn't have, you know, a mastery over that, an awareness or a knowledge, a self-awareness, a self-mastery of themselves, they could go their whole life, you know, playing that Scorpio energy and never fully coming into the spotlight, you know, as big and as grand as they really potentially could because of that challenge. So, and this is, I don't understand how I could have like a copyright. It's so funny. Like there was no background music on this. I'm looking at one of these videos, and you know what it is? It's sometimes like if I sing and it's just like, it's like, I don't understand how they can copyright that. I am totally like disputing that. That's redonkulous. All right, so I'll do that another time. But so yeah, so coming back to that Leo energy, right? And so another thing that I also feel is something that is not talked about enough is how competitive Leo actually is. Remember, Leo is a fire sign. All of the fire signs are encoded with warrior energy. It's masculine, right? It's the zenith of full on spiritual will, the will to conquer and to expand your dominion and to, you know, create an empire, you know, and to lay down, you know, and organize your kingdom. That is what, you know, the will is about. The will, you know, like the kingdom or the queendom is in service to the crown. And the crown is in service to the kingdom by laying down the rules and the structures and the organization that helps for a kingdom or a queendom to prosper. You know, it's like if there's no rules, you know, and regulation and organization, it's total chaos. And chaos is the opposite of creativity. So there needs to be laws and rules that create prosperity, that create organization, that further the, you know, the smooth operations of, you know, whatever it is. And, you know, and so I would also look at that as well, is where you have Leo is where, you know, there needs to be rules that you, it's like a code of honor that you live by. A code that, and so coming back to like the competition piece though is, you know, competition is something that has really gotten a bad rap. Just like with anger, just like with any of the fiery shadows. And so, you know, competition, if we look back to the like ancient times, competition was actually something that was celebrated in the Greek pantheon, that was celebrated during the Greek times. And it was about celebrating the aspirational potential and greatness of an individual. And it's only through competition that you're able to sharpen your skills, to sharpen your weapons. And so, you know, with this, hey Paula, so with the culture, you know, there's a lot of these new like woke culture and a lot of different, you know, things that are happening in our world. And along with that is like this shaming of the competition vibes. And so something that I'm very passionate about is re-edifying that and clearing out the distortions around competition, because, you know, the competitive games, you know, is at any time that you are, you know, martial artists, coaches, even playing tennis, like tennis, you know, like what makes a person a great tennis player, right, is how well they respond to what is coming at them. And this is actually in the, you know, in relationships. That's why they say love is a battlefield. The 7th house in astrology, which is the house of marriage, it's the house of one-on-one partnerships. So any type of, like if you do coaching one-on-one, that's considered the 7th house. A marriage, you know, any relationship, if you have a one-on-one relationship with your mother, your friend, your child, your whoever, it's a one-on-one dance. It's like a dance partner. That is the 7th house. And the ancient name of that house is the house of open enemies. And this is where the paradox, the polarity of Libra and Aries come in. Aries being the warrior, Libra being the lover, or Venus being the lover, right? Aries being the warrior. Okay, so you see the duality, the polarity, the balance. Okay, they're made for each other. So when in the house of love, or excuse me, in the what was it that I called it? What did I say? The 7th house being, oh, love is a battlefield, right? It's like, imagine it's like tennis. And it's like how, you know, if a martial artist is a dancer, right? Like the way that like a real martial artist, if you've ever seen like in Kung Fu, Tai Chi, Jiu-Jitsu, like they're dancing with their partner. There is no like, it's ideally like it's it's whatever is coming at them is, you know, is something about themselves that they have to face. When it feels like it's aggressive towards you, or it feels like it's competitive, you know, it's like, what am I seeing in the other that I get to master about me? And so that's the value of competition. And so nowadays, right, like there's all of this negative stigma around competition. And yes, of course, there is something to be said because, you know, we want everybody, all of our friends, all of our colleagues, and I mean colleagues as in like, you know, if you're in, you know, in an industry, right? Like let's say the coaching industry, for example. So other people that are in your industry that are doing similar things to you, absolutely, of course, you want them to have the best of their experience, because on some level they are you, right? Like we are all one, but yet we're also individuals. So it's kind of like silly to even compare yourself to anybody else, because nobody is you. Nobody is you, and nobody could even come close to the surface of being you. That is what the Leo energy is about, is you won the fucking lottery. You could have been born on any fucking day of the week, but you got to be you. Like, oh my God, like how amazing is that? Like I get to be me, and it takes a lifetime to become me. And so this is where like that competition energy, like it's so important not to shy away from it, especially when it comes to embracing Leo energy, because Leo is competitive. Leo is ambitious. Leo is aspirational. So in order to do that, there is a way to own, you know, the you know, being in the winning energy, or the competition, or it's like a game, you know, like that's another way of really being with the Leo energy, is like getting into the game. Are you in the game? Are you playing your cards that you came here to play? Are you willing to risk it all for love, for the legacy that you're here to live? And so what's happening right now with the sun just going into Leo, and then also what we've got is we've got a lot of this Taurus energy. Mars is in Taurus. It's about to conjunct with Uranus, which is going to be like, that's a big deal. That's happening at the end of the month, July 29th and August 1st. And I'm calling this like, it's a trifecta, and it's a destiny portal. Do not be confused, okay? I've been talking and jamming about this for a while. It is a destiny portal. And so what I mean by that is it's a checkpoint. And in order to really align with your soul's highest evolution, growth, aspirational, you leaving a legacy for who you came here to be, means you have to do these planets, Mars and Uranus, okay? Now, because they're in Taurus, both of these planets they're not well placed. It's challenging. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's challenging, because Taurus energy is all about the couch. And that's what I was talking about earlier today. So I'm kind of like, I was doing like, you know, more general talking, and now I'm getting more nitty gritty about it. And this is coming from your moon in Taurus woman over here. I have the moon in Taurus. If anybody knows about Taurus energy, it's me, okay? Which is why, you know, like I do have such a strong message when it comes to the comfort zone, okay? Because I'm very fucking familiar with it, you know? And I've learned a lot. I have a lot of experience to bring from my lived experiences, the way words. Okay, so Taurus wants the stability. It wants to have things and to be comfortable. And these are all great until they're actually keeping you from growth. And so Mars in Taurus, you know, can have a tough time getting behind, you know, what it wants to do, because Taurus is stubborn. Taurus is like, but I like my couch. And I like my belly, and I love my boobies, and I love I love having my food in the refrigerator. I like knowing that it's there, because Taurus likes to have things. Okay? So, but if you're going to go out on an adventure, which is what Mars wants, which is what the fiery aspect of Leo wants, it's very hard to go on an adventure, to lean into the edge and to take risks. Leo is the sign of risk taking. And so I kind of want to share this because one way that I feel like what has helped me a lot is that even though I have I have the moon in Taurus, it's in the 5th house. So it's actually in Leo's house. So that helps me a lot, because I need the stability, and I have to self-source that. So this is how you sing the note, is that safety, security, and stability has to be self-sourced. It never comes from outside of you. And when you are truly, truly anchored into that, you're truly in that place, you're free. You're free to risk. You're free to gamble your life away, because you trust yourself. You trust yourself that, oh, yeah, well, I might fucking fall down. I might lose everything, but you want to know what? I'll fucking figure it out. I'll figure it out when I get there, because look at what I've already done. Look at how amazed I am my own. And so the Leo energy comes in with like, I am my own higher power, bitch, right? Like, if anything, like, I will figure it out. Like, there's this incredible faith and an unshakable knowing that, you know, I am the hero, and that when I'm leaning into my edges, when I'm truly getting out of my comfort zone, when I'm truly like taking these risks, that it's that is actually the how that I aspire. It's actually the how that I get to become more, you know, and leave the legacy. You cannot leave a legacy. Cancel clear. Let me be careful about what it is that I'm saying, because I was about to say you can't leave a legacy sitting on your couch. But maybe you can. Who am I to say? I don't know. I mean, like, I shared not too long ago about, you know, Elon Musk sleeping on his friend's couch, you know, when he sold his shares in PayPal. So, I mean, he is, but, you know, but he's not staying there. And what I mean by that is, you know, is in order to go out on an adventure, by definition, that means you have to leave the familiar, the comfort zone of what you're comfortable with. All right, so let me see some of these comments. Paula, I have so much in the 7th house. Yeah, your sun. Okay, so this is what I was talking about before. So like tuning into, one of the best ways to tune into the Leo energy is looking at your sun sign. Do your sun sign, because that's what's going to bring you the most joy that you could. I'm getting all of the chill bumps, like your sun. So really, like, you know, that Pisces, that beautiful Pisces, otherworldly, transcendent, mystical, musical, just, it's very soft and very gentle, you know, and out there, you know. Pisces energy is like, it's a little weird. It's because it is everything. It's everything and nothing at the same time, which is just like how can it be everything and nothing? So tuning into that Pisces sun, is that's how you shine in the world. And then also looking at, well, it's in seventh house. So there's also that shining in relationships. Like that is how you shine, is it's the sphere. It's like, imagine your house, and your house has all of these rooms, like a mansion has all of these rooms. And so the different houses are the rooms in your mansion. Bedroom. It's where the man and the woman share a bed, or so that is where you shine, is in that one-on-one partnership dance place. And then you've got Venus and you've got Mercury, so you've got a bunch of different characters in your room there. You've got the sun, which is like the diva, the starlet, and the performance artist. And then you've got Venus, who's the goddess, or the mermaid, the courtesan, the geisha, sort of deal. And then you've got Mercury, which is like the teacher or the writer, the trickster, even like the playful magician, storyteller. Okay, so those are all like the fine-tuned like motifs and nuances of that Pisces sun. So and that's what adds more richness and more depth to the legacy, to the because they're fused together. Whenever you have planets that are so close like that, like they're all in the same sign, it's called a conjunction. And so the conjunction is like, it's a fusion of all of those energies together. So Venus in Taurus is lazy romance. Yes, LOS, this explains my partner. Yes, okay, so I also have a Venus in Taurus in my bed. And it's like, so the Venus, there's a lot that I could say about Venus and Taurus. I mean, it's where Venus is very at home and has a lot of power. And at the same time, like, Venus in Taurus likes how it relates, and it can also, because of it's like Taurus is a fixed sign, so it doesn't like to change a lot. So the fact that Uranus, okay, so we didn't talk about this, right? We were starting that way, and then I got onto a tangent. So Uranus has been in Taurus. And so anybody who has Taurus placements, like fucking, they deserve an award. I deserve a fucking award. Yes, thank you, everybody. And I say that and I'm joking, and I also really fucking mean it, because the moon in Taurus, the moon is the most sensitive part of you. So it's challenging. But anybody who has if you're a Taurus sun, if you have the moon in Taurus, Venus in Taurus, any Taurus placements, Uranus is the great awakener. It's chaos. It's like, it's experimentation. It wants to just like break shit up just to see like what happens. Oh, what happens if we press this button? Oh, psh! And it's like the next thing you know, your refrigerator is like exploding with food. And imagine the little Taurus is like, oh, my refrigerator with all of the food. And so like when Uranus first stepped onto the scene that's when I started revolutionizing my business. And so I was very comfortable with the amount of money that I was making and the way that I was making money and bringing in money, because I had been doing it for the past, how many years? I would say 10 years. I was making money. It was very comfortable. You know, I had my safety zone, you know, doing my thing. But when Uranus came in there, Uranus was just like, oh no, bitch. Like, we're gonna revolutionize some shit. We're gonna do some trial and error. We're gonna that's when I lost my house. I lost my car. I was homeless for, you know, like legit. I slept in my car during that time, and I had my kids go and stay at my mom's place. And I can say that now with no shame. I took some major fucking risks, and I came out with my music. So many beautiful things came out of that. But for my Taurus moon that loves the house and loves the home, I was like dying. I was like, that for me was so traumatizing. But what it did is it like re-cemented an unshakable, where I was forced to find security in being homeless. I was forced to find rock solid certainty and security in not having any money. And it was like, that to me was such a lesson of learning how money doesn't bring security. That things don't ever bring you security. And yes, we came here to be in the material. And yes, we came here to be abundant. And yes to all of those things. And they also do not bring you safety, security, or stability. And so anybody who has Taurus placements, and you know, it's not as challenging for a sun in Taurus by any stretch of the imagination as it is for the moon. So you're welcome, everybody, that I went through the hard shit so that I could share my fucking lessons and stories with you. But on some level, you know, I know that that's the kind of soul that I came here to be, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So, but if you have a Venus in Taurus, right, like that is very, it potentially is very challenging for how you're used to relating. You know, it's like it forces you to grow. It's like let go or be dragged. And so on the other spectrum of that, like when you really are living up to the highest potential of that Venus in Taurus, or that, well, let's talk about Venus in Taurus, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus anyway. So it's kind of like a double theme, you know, this is like super high chemistry in your relationships. This is like fucking chemistry, you know, like, and you might be relating, it might be a very atypical way of relating. So like the catchphrase of it's not a Uranus transit until everybody is tutting. So an example of that is like people that like really old, like if, you know, your partner's really old and you're really young, and it's like a lot of people will be like, oh, like, you know, I wonder what that's about, you know, or, you know, it's your, and it's all relative to you, right? It's like, it could be that you're dating somebody that's not the same race as you, right? It could be that maybe how you're relating, you know, it's like maybe the relationship is that, you know, you're, you know, like you're a new family, you know what I mean? It's like you're not the typical, whatever is the, what's the expression? What's it called? You know what I'm talking about? Like, what's the word? The traditional family, somebody help me out here. You know what I'm talking about? Like where it's, they get married, they have their kids, what is it called? Satellite family, or you know what I'm talking about, where it's like, like it's a step parent, right? Or, you know, like this is my father, but we don't live together, right? Because, and it could be that, it could be like, for example, like Helena Bonham Carter and Tim Burton, like they're like, I don't know them personally. They don't write me on the weekends anymore. Like I have to talk to Helena because she's really dropped the ball in our personal relationship. She used to call me every weekend and tell me like about all of her life. And, you know, I don't know, there was a falling out, but supposedly, you know, like they're really happy in their relationship, but they don't live together. Like they have two mansions. She lives over here and he lives over there, and they have their own fucking legit mansions. And I believe it's in Scotland or England or somewhere. And they have a tunnel that goes under the ground that meets in the middle, and there's a door. And so whenever they want to come over or to go over to, you know, to each other's lair or whatever, they go underneath into the tunnel, and then that's how they go over to each other's quarters. You know what I mean? So like that is really fucking different, right? Like that. So that's like you. So wherever you have Taurus is where it's like you really need to embrace the experimentation, you know? And so Mars in Uranus is like this big destiny portal that we're having at the end of the month. Like I said, August 1st. So where, you know, imagine that part of your life on steroids. Could get some weird side effects, but, you know, or like putting crazy fertilizer on it. You know, it's like, or it could be really fucking epic and amazing, but you have to be willing to experiment and do something that at first you may not have thought that you valued. And that's the other thing about Uranus and Taurus is it's about your values are really changing. There's a lot, and that's why cryptocurrency is definitely Uranus and Taurus. And so because there's so much shifting in cultural values is also why there's so much instability in crypto, because Uranus is in Taurus. When Uranus moves out of Taurus, there will be less of the instability in cultural values so that there won't be all of that shifting. So, and Taurus also rules over money as well. So, you know, so it's, you know, it's so important to really come into finding what it is that your truth, not your truth and your truth now. Like, actually, is this true for me now? Like, actually, do I even want to sleep in the same room as my husband? Yeah, actually I do. Or no, I actually don't. Do I want to get married? Do I want to live with this person? I love this person, but do I want to live with them? No. But if you're not living with them, then it means blah, 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 blah. No, right? Like, or wherever you have Taurus. So look to, you know, maybe it's how you raise your kids. You know, it's just like, where do you have Taurus? Venus and Taurus, lazy romance. Yeah, and so it's like, so it's kind of like, yeah, it's like it has to be easy, or they're not gonna, maybe not, you know, I don't want to say too much. I'm not going to say too much about that, because Venus in Taurus is also, you know, very much about money, because Taurus is about money, you know? So it's also like the value of the relationship. Does this relationship, is there a lot of stock? You know what I mean? It's like how do I say this? You know how it's like in the market, like your stock value. Thank you. Sorry, like I'm sort of like buzzing on my words here today because I'm like, whatever, doesn't matter. It's like the stock value, you know? Venus and Taurus brings fucking stock value to your relationship, and they know it. They know it. It's like they know that they bring high fucking value to their relationship. And they also, so consider yourself lucky and blessed to be in a relationship with somebody in Venus and Taurus, because it's like they know what they bring to the table. And so to be in a relationship with them, they also see that value in you. You know, they're like, this is a fucking high value woman. This is a high value relationship for me. The only thing with being careful with Venus and Taurus is because it's material. So the thing about that, right, that might be challenging. So for example, you know, I'm somebody who has Venus in Scorpio. So for me, Scorpio energy is not so much concerned about things, you know, like material things, money things. Like that really helped me. That helped me a lot when it came to losing, you know, all the things that I lost I found value in the spiritual lesson, right? I found the value in the emotional depths that I was able to cultivate and the emotional mastery that I got to cultivate. So, which is like, love isn't about things. You know, in our human experience, we love the body, right? Taurus loves the body. It's a body love sign. Like it loves its creature comforts of the body and the sexual pleasure. And so, but that only lasts so long, right? And actually this is something that I'm going to be riffing more about because I want to talk about the Mars retrograde that's coming up in the sign of Gemini. And I talk a lot about like the chemistry, you know, like the honeymoon hormones that I call, like the chemistry, the actual neuromodulators, you know, that happen in polarity. And, you know, let me just tune in because like that's a whole other conversation. And so, but that's not love. Like in the very early beginning stages, right? When we're just meeting somebody, it's like super passionate, right? And because it's a passion for the body and it's how this person makes me feel. The love hormones, and what I mean by love hormones are the chemical hormones of that dopamine hit of like, oh, this person is so thrilling and exciting and I get so much reward from being able to say that they're mine. You know, like I captured them, I captivated them, you know, like that's a Gemini, it's a dopamine, it's also, you know, so those wear off. It's like on average, 3 to 5 years is when that dopamine release will start to, because it's a chemical thing. So, and that's where it's the invitation where it's like the real love that isn't about, you know how some people say that love is a business, you know, it's a transaction, meaning like I do this for you and then this person does this for me. That's transactional. It's like, you know, so I'll give you the example of like, well, you know, for a man provides the safety, the structure, and the security, and then the woman in transaction provides the beauty of the home and the pleasure of the sex and just the beauty of being a woman. Like that's what men get from us, right? But that's transactional. So that's not really love. And so that's what I'm talking about is Venus in Taurus is a master of the body or the physical material harmony of transaction, of giving and receiving value, but it can be, and ideally, like that's where the Scorpio balance comes in, right? It's like the immaterial, the losing, like it's like your ego dies, you know? And this is about totally submitting to another. Submitting and being like where you are prostrated on the ground in total worship of another's. Simone just came in the room and she got down on all, like, you know how the Sufis or the Muslims, like they get down and they pray like that. Like she just came in and did that on the thing. So that's what I have to say about that. Okay, so, and that's on his 7th house. What's on his 7th house? Oh, Taurus is his 7th house, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Dang, the story of homelessness. Yeah, that was definitely, you know, I will say this, that there was a lot of, for sure, like shame and things that I had to, that I got to clear up and, you know, and see and like work through and all of those things. And I will tell you what, like that was also one of the greatest adventures that I went through in my life. It was, I mean, I really was, it's like one of those things where it's like for example, like my brother was in Afghanistan, and one of the things that, you know, I have always shared with him is, you know, is it's like when you've been through something like that, it's like nothing else really phases you. And it's not that things don't phase you, and I want to like really speak to that, because I'm not meaning like where you have this shell that you've become so hard where it's just like, you know, where it's like you don't feel things. That's not what I mean. But it means like when you've gone through literally hell, you know, and you've been in the bowels, and then, you know, like other stuff comes up and you're just like, this has got nothing on Afghanistan. You know what I mean? Like, and you get to bring that wisdom. And that is the hero's journey. And so coming back to like the Leo energy, that, you know, that's what the whole topic of this riff is, and your legacy is about the hero's journey. And you cannot go on a hero's journey from the couch. You can, and I mean this metaphorically, guys. Like, you guys know how I speak in metaphor and in stories. And so I'm not saying that you can't be sitting on your couch and going on an adventure. You absolutely can. You can do all kinds of things. But what I mean by when I'm saying your couch is I mean your comfort zone. So whatever that is for you, it's like you cannot go through the hero's journey, that great adventure, the erotic adventure of following your bliss and following your passion and like getting to see, because that's how you get to see who you are and what you're capable of. And that's what I learned from that homelessness experience, is that home is in me. Hold on. This light is not bad though. We could still work with this. I just like my light better. We might have to just roll with it because that's what's coming up. Oh, you know what? Let me see something. I'm going to come back on here and read the comments. Just let me... I'm still getting my room all... Yay! Okay. All set up here with my new surroundings. What was I saying? Is that I really, and that's what I'm saying, is that's what Taurus, that's what Uranus and Taurus, the gift for me of my highest potential is finding that, like really that, the gift of the moon in Taurus is unshakable self-reliance. That's so funny that as she did that, she shook the thing. It's like no matter what else is happening in the external world, I'm solid in here. And so in order for me to actually fully cultivate that, I needed to go on an adventure that would challenge all of the places, all of the structures that I had built to make me feel safe, secure, and stable. My relationship being one of them, right? Like that was totally a thing. That was very rocky for our relationship. So, but I needed to be true to myself. And so all of the structures that I thought was actually bringing me safety, security, and stability, my relationship, my money, my career, my home, my car, my identity, all of those things. And through that, I released all of what was keeping me in status quo, what was keeping me in my limited ego identity. And it's what allowed me to change my identity of who I was. And that's when I also started coming back out with my music. And it was just like, no, actually, I am a singer. I am a performer. And that's also when, at that time, that I also went and I did that competition. Have you guys heard me tell you guys about that story? About the competition that I did? And I had said to myself, I was just like, I'm ready to get back on stage and I'm ready to perform. All right, let me see what some of these. When does Uranus move out of Taurus? Uranus moves out of Taurus in 2025, I believe. 2025. Hold on a second. Let me get my laptop and I can give you the exact date on that. And then it'll be in Gemini, which is going to be fucking bananas. And so that's another thing that I really want to speak to. All of the stuff that's happening in Gemini, we had the Venus retrograde in Gemini in 2021. Was it 2021? Yeah. Or 2020. Now the Mars retrograde in Gemini is all preparing the terrain for when Uranus gets to Gemini. And that's why I'm so passionate about this Mars retrograde that's happening in Gemini. It's why I'm hosting a mastermind. It's why I've been taking it to the next level. And it's because when Uranus gets there, I mean, it's just going to be whoa, full on. It's a much more comfortable place for Uranus to be because, they're more simpatico. But, all right, let's go to... So Uranus gets out of Taurus in 2025, in July of 2025. So I don't know if you're still on here, Paula, but so anyhow, so the Leo energy is this Leo energy, the whole thing that we've been talking about, going on your own adventure, leaving a legacy, being the main character of your story, right? That energy is squaring the Taurus energy, all of this. So there is action to be taken, anytime there is a square, it's it'll feel like a conflict, but it is requiring action, the answer is to take action. So, and if it's feeling out of balance, right, you want to look at, well, which am I doing more of? Am I doing more the Taurus or am I doing more the Leo, And so if there's conflict, chances are you need to do the sign that you're doing less of. Okay, So I think that's it. I also wanted to let you guys know tomorrow I'm doing a free masterclass, Origins of the High Priestess Soul Fractal, the sexual and oracular healing powers of sirens, snakes, dragons, and mermaids. We also will be, I'm doing a 10-day incubator, the High Priestess constellation. So if you're really into that energy and you want to be in that energy with me for 10 days. It's going to be epic and amazing, really tapping into and embodying and activating the High Priestess constellation and archetype. That starts on the 25th. I have my Mars, Moxie, Harlequin the Huntress, 8-month mastermind, which is beyond, beyond, beyond. I'm telling you, if you're in my world, and you're feeling that, like, you belong in there. It is some of my best, I mean, like I've been telling you, I've been making love to this for fucking months upon months, and I'm super stoked about it. So it is a 3-month minimum. And then if you do a 3-month minimum, you can come back in for a month at a time. You can sign up for the whole 8 months. And, you know, there's also going to be the 2 Mercury retrogrades that are very much tied into this Mars retrograde, because Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. So those are going to be very influential and very powerful. So we've got the Nymphette, which is the Mercury edition of Star Disco, coming up the end of August, beginning of September. Well, actually all of September. So I've got that coming up, and then also in December, the other Mercury retrograde, which will be in Capricorn. So lots of different ways to work with me in the Star Disco brand, and as of right now, I have 1 spot for one-on-one private mentorship with me. When you do one-on-one private mentorship with me, you get to do all of the programs, masterminds, everything that I have on offer through the Star Disco brand, in addition to the one-on-one work that we're doing together. So I have 1 space available. That is a 3-month minimum. It's $9K pay in full, or $33.33 per month. So if you have questions about any of those things, reach out to me. Thanks for tuning in. I love you guys. Mwah! Bye.